Hey there, welcome back. I am Mona, and this is the Smell of Logic channel where we read Reddit stories, sometimes advice, just random stuff that I find on Reddit that I find amusing, or compelling sometimes. So this is, what is the funniest real life story that you can tell? I suppose it means everyone can tell something, but that this is one that you're allowed to tell, kind of thing. Ready? High school junior year, first day of class. Teacher walks in. It's an older, wrinkly guy with a mustache. A little weird looking. His shirt is only tucked in on one side. Everyone is just getting the wrong vibe from this guy. Like he's not there at all in the head. He's got a manic look in his eyes, and he's creepy. He starts going through attendance, not looking up the whole time. Then he gets to my name, starts to say it, then stops. Looks up, scans the room, looks directly at me, says, Mr. 102194, I'm glad you're here. How's your family? Is your little sister still playing the piano? Is that model ship still in your dresser? Is your room still blue? I'm shocked, mortified. I can't find the words to respond. This creep has just described my family and the effing room that I sleep in at night. Of course. It's only been what, a week? Then he goes back to attendance. Panics were had that day. But anyway, the next day I found out that old crazy guy is my uncle's best friend, and they and my dad decided to pull a prank on me for my first day. The teacher wasn't crazy looking the rest of the year. He shaved the mustache, which looked like pedo, but he grew specifically for the prank, apparently. He dressed better and stopped making his eye twitch. I have to admit it was a good prank, even if I was terrified of being murdered for a day or two. Someone says, why can't all adults be this awesome? Because asshole adults soothe them. Yeah. Probably not wrong. I don't want to tell the story because it's so specific that it might give away who I am to any of my friends who use Reddit, but here it goes anyway. I hope this doesn't blow up, or I will probably have to delete this comment. We all went out to the typical college bars one night and got trashed. We, being roommates and some friends of ours. There were some people from out of town staying over at our place, too, that night. So after we all drank, everyone was drunk and fell asleep in their respective areas. Roommates in their rooms and the guests on the couches and floors. The next morning, everyone was just up playing video games and chatting. One of the guys visiting from out of town, we'll call him Leroy, walks into the room and interrupts everybody, but very quietly. Let me preface this by saying that Leroy was a very tall guy. He's one of those guys who everyone knows was very friendly. Kind of a big friendly giant, one might say. Back to the story. He walks in and says very nonchalantly, guys, I think someone pooed in the shower. And this is when I stop my Counter-Strike game with my roommate and I confusedly walk towards the restroom. I look down at the shower and lo and behold, there is a stinking pile of shit there. When I say a pile of shit, I mean a pile of shit. That's not like there's a few pieces of shit like you were seeing a dog shit in a park. I'm talking a pile of shit as if someone slowly diarrheaed and all over the shower. Now, the first thing that logically crossed my mind was, check what's wrong with the toilet. I check the toilet, flush it, and it all seems fine. Why wouldn't someone shit in the toilet? How drunk he or she must have been to use the shower. These were my thoughts. So I screamed, running out of the bathroom because the smell was really hitting my brain. This shit was dank. I run out. Everyone, one by one, goes in to take a look at the shower shit extravaganza. Everyone comes out either laughing or gagging. Lots of oh my gods and holy shits. This is when we all go detective on the situation. We start deciphering who could have done this, considering nobody would admit to the crime. I take the role of lead detective and throw out some conjectures. Firstly, there are 2 bathrooms and 3 roommates who live there. 2 people share the shower shit bathroom, and 1 person has his own. I come to the conclusion that it's most likely not the person who lives in his own, considering that he has his own bathroom. Why would he shit like that if that in somebody else's? Secondly, I live in one of the rooms, and I know I didn't do it. Thirdly, why would one of the guests shit in the shower? That's just plain impolite. So we narrowed it down to the last piece of shit, pun intended, roommate. We'll call him John. John keeps denying it. We all accuse him and start laughing too. It basically turns into a witch hunt where we are all accused and he continued to fend it off. But John couldn't keep it any longer. He doesn't admit it, but he might as well have. He says, fine, I'll clean it up. I didn't do it, but I will. Then this is when I shout out, "Bullshit, why would you clean it up if you didn't do it?" Everyone burst out laughing, taking pictures of the shit before it gets cleaned. This one would go down in history. I realized he was probably kind of embarrassed, and I was probably being a bit of a douche about it. But still, that's what you get for shitting in a shower when the toilet's right next to you. I've heard all of these stories and read about guys who've gotten drunk enough to vomit and shit everywhere, and I've always wondered why you get that effing drunk. See, I had a friend one time who had a boyfriend, and they would get so drunk they couldn't find the bathroom. It's actually a pretty common thing. She woke up one night and found him pissing in the corner of the living room with carpet and everything, right in the corner. And she woke him up and told him, "Jason, you're in the bathroom." He's like, "No, I'm not. She said, "You're in the living room." And he said, "No, I'm in the bathroom." And they just went back to sleep, and the next morning they cleaned it up. But yeah, that happens probably quite quite more often than you think. Personally, I think it was the tall guy. That's just me. My dad called the cops on me because he thought I was a hooker. I was outside of my own home. And the replies go as such. Well, wait here. Why were you waiting for someone to pick you up? What led him to believe that you were a hooker? And what happened after the cops got there? Wow. Yeah. I'm an American in China and arranged a meeting with a guy from Germany. I go to his hotel. He says, "I'm coming down in the elevator." The elevator opens, and the only Western face I see is a guy looking for me, or so I thought. He introduces himself with a thick accent. We talked for half an hour before we both figured out that we were supposed to be in a meeting for other business persons. And yep, they were in the elevator area waiting for us. Another American and a German. Go figure. A group of friends and I went to Six Flags over Texas one summer day. We're all 19 or 20 at the time. We'd been there for a few hours in the heat, and after finishing a greasy meal of theme park burgers and fries, we decided it's a good idea to ride Mr. Freeze, a large roller coaster that goes forward and then backwards. After waiting in line, my friend, who we'll just call Jason, says the burger is not agreeing with his bowels, and that he thinks he can still go on the ride. Now, Jason is a pretty dramatic guy and likes to joke around a lot. Fast forward a couple of minutes, and we're on the ride. We reach the halfway point, where the coaster goes straight up and stops briefly. Jason, sitting next to me in the two-seater car, looks over and yells, "I'm pooping." We both laughed, and the ride shoots off backwards to take us through the loops and twists again, the other direction. We get off the ride, and Jason runs to the bathroom. When he comes out, we see the unmistakable small brown stains on his shorts. Yeah, probably not a good idea. That's just pretty awful, honestly. Milk chugging. On a field trip, never seen so much white puke coming from someone's mouth. How much milk was chugged? I imagine chugging milk would be a nice thing unless you drank too much. There is an official milk chugging contest that requires you to drink a full gallon of milk in 60 seconds, which wouldn't be that hard, but the rule is that you have to do it without vomiting. As in Europe, we don't have gallons, so we have 1 liter packs of milk, 4 of them. A friend of mine managed to drink a little over 3 before it started. That just sounds awful. I'm sorry, it does. The pastor who asked, "Why did you all come here to church this morning? Just to see me?" And little girl loudly goes, "No." Pretty sure it was his own kid, too. Little girls are always so vicious. The last little girl I ran into told her family to get off the trail because there was a fat person coming. I'm not fat, I'm broad. Well, it probably didn't help that you ran into her. A friend of mine, has the ultimate real-life story with a girl that was blackout drunk. He was bartending, and Chippendale strippers came to town. The bar had hired several of the college football players to bar back. Anyway, there was a group of girls at a table who had been drinking pretty heavily, and one of the girls, upon ordering, said that it was their friend's 21st birthday. So he sent out one of the football players with free shots to the table. The football player came back and said birthday girl wants to bring the drinks to their table. So he delivered them, and she was all excited. Fast forward to closing time. Birthday girl's friends tells him that birthday girl wants to take him home. Sure, no problem. He needs to just finish up closing. So then he was taking her back to her apartment. She was freaking ripped. He says She says, "This is my apartment." He begins to try every key in the keychain, and none worked. He asks again, "Are you sure this is your apartment?" Drunkenly, she says, "Yes, just kick in the door." Well, being horny, he does. Upon walking in, he smells new leather. He asks, "What, did you just get a new couch?" She replies to him, "No." At this time, she is all over him. Clothes are flying, and he starts banging her on the couch. After a while, he feels something warm and thinks to himself, "Yeah, this girl just got hers." So after he finishes up, he goes to the bathroom. This is where things begin to get good. Upon turning on the lights in the bathroom, he discovers exactly what that worm was she let out. She had shit herself during sex. Well, he just went ahead and got in the shower and cleaned up. Then he was looking for a towel and can't find one, so he walked into the kitchen and sees a kitchen towel and dries himself off as best as he can with that kitchen towel. Then he sees a picture on the counter of a black couple. Oh, shit. He had broke into apparently a black couple that was in the process of moving into their new apartment. So he promptly put his clothes on, tells her that he had fun, but she was already passed out. Well, fast forward a couple of days, and the police are leaving his bar as he was getting ready for his shift. Manager asked what happened with you and that drunk birthday girl. He said he took her home and banged her and then left. Manager tells him, well, she hasn't been in contact with her parents for a couple of days, and they are worried. And he is thinking, oh shit. Well, a couple of weeks go by, and he is out at a different club and thinks he sees her across the dance floor. She then makes eye contact with him and promptly covers her face and runs out of the club. Yeah. I can't imagine not being embarrassed. I mean, how do you overcome something like that if you ever see the other person? That's just wow. I had a friend whose roommate had a large German Shepherd dog. One day when she came home from work, she found him playing with the next door neighbor's pet bunny. It was dead. She panicked and gave the bunny a bath, blow dried it, and placed it back in its cage, afraid to tell the neighbors that her dog had killed it. A couple of hours later, they heard the neighbor's kid screaming hysterically. It turns out the bunny had died, and they had buried it, and her dog had dug it up. Dog had dug it up to play with it. Oh my god. Oh, if that's real, that's horrific. Oh, that's pretty bad. I don't think I can top those there. Hope you have enjoyed this video. So go listen to a few more. There's a whole bunch here on the channel, a little bit of everything for everyone. So anyway, thanks for listening and watching, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.